What's up, everyone? It's your favorite producer, PJ from the OK Podcast, and I'd like to tell you about a veteran fundraiser that is more than just OK. The Strength Co. will be hosting the 3rd annual Turkey Pull fundraiser for the Simplify in America's Fund on November 16th, 2024. That's November 16th, 2024. Don't go run a 5K this Thanksgiving. Come do some deadlifts and raise some money for this important organization that supports active military, veterans, and their families. You can come to this event in person, or you can join us online, and all proceeds go to the Simplify in America's Fund. Click on the link in the description and sign up today. We'll see you there.
All right, and welcome back. Wait, what's the number?
40.
All right, and welcome back to episode 040 of the
Okay.
Guidons.
Okay.
Podcast powered by the Strength Co. I'm your host, Grant Broggi. We are broadcasting live from the upstate of South Carolina. Joining in with us right here at the start of the show is Major Hefere Buege, coming in from Salt Lake City, Greater Salt Lake Mormon area of Utah. PJ's in studio, got a lot of weather. Price of Bitcoin is 61,044 US doll hairs. The block clock is out. It should be up, but I've been experiencing power issues. The storm is real, in all seriousness. I'll just, for a second here, we've had John Connitz from Hare's Fly Fishing on the show before. If you're in Western North Carolina or even the upstate of South Carolina, it is a rough time. Hurricane Helene has been real.
Underhyped.
Underhyped. Yeah. We talked a little bit about storms last week, but I mean, this one, pretty bad. So for everyone in Western North Carolina, there's a bunch of, fishing conservation acts going on, really just to help people. But if you want to go over to Hare's Fly Fishing on Instagram or their website, they've like pointed some resources. People definitely need them. There's a lot of things going on around where we live, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But the storm is the real deal. Never seen one come quite this far inland. But anyway, I say a lot to say. Thankfully, I got Wi-Fi back a day or two ago, but I forgot to reconnect the block clock. But the show must go on. So yeah, there's your weather update.
Yeah.
The storm didn't knock out Bitcoin. That's all I know.
No, Bitcoin's still cranking. Right. How you doing, Jeff?
Things are good. Yeah, I was going to ask if weather talk and how bad did it get in Greenville? Just like rain and wind,
legit,
or?
I mean, the aftermath is legit bad. The storm itself was it was a bad storm. I would just call it that. It's not like you're on the coast and there's a Category 5 hurricane coming, but the winds were high enough. The flooding was bad enough to do a lot of damage. Dude, I didn't realize how much trees can just bring a state to a standstill. Yeah. Trees will ruin everything.
Yeah. I think there was a little elevation, mountain pressure going to, I was kind of telling Diana before, like, I grew up on the coast in Beaufort, hurricanes all the time. Yeah. It's bad down there because you have pecan trees. You have a lot of Spanish moss. The trees are heavier. Everything falls. But man, it came through here and packed a punch. And then I think you don't have hurricane-minded folks, and that's not a bad thing. It's just, the track that thing took, they're saying it's never taken that track. So it came up and wiped out. It just wiped out a lot. And it's weird if you stay, if you go downtown to the heart of the city and walk around, there's like maybe 4 blocks where everything's normal. But I mean, our office is out, not supposed to have power for another, the thing I saw today was another 7 days. So, we can't ship merch. If you're waiting on merch, we're a little bit behind. We'll do some workarounds to get your merch out, but that's out. There's no power in there. If you're colorblind, you got to pick a right t-shirt and there's no power. It gets difficult. I'm not colorblind, but if you were,
I would say a 5-mile radius outside of downtown.
I'd say a 2 mile,
maybe a 2 mile.
I'd say even
immediately.
More. I mean, the office is right downtown. The gym is 2.6 miles from where I live. They're saying 2 weeks before that thing has power. Wow. So yeah, quite the storm.
Yeah, it's serious.
But South Carolinians march on. North Carolinians do
now there's
too.
another one forming.
Yeah, so that's where I draw the line. is letting a second hurricane. No, I mean, it's like, it's like you have to turn off the news. I don't generally watch the news. I only watch like weather news, but then it's like, okay, there's like always something forming in the Gulf Coast this time of year. Like, I'm not saying it's not coming.
Oh,
it could totally be coming, but it's like popping up on the screen. And now, have you heard about Isaac? And it's like, I mean.
The only thing is I'd feel real stupid if I wasn't ready for a second one, just because everyone said the same thing about a week ago.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
I'm not saying don't get ready. I'm just saying the media definitely likes a good storm.
It's a good story. I tell you that much.
Speaking of which, and not to get on my soapbox, Jeff, before we even let you take over the slide deck, but if you don't have a home gym, you need a home gym. And that is like a non-negotiable. You have to have a home gym. When disaster or stressful things come in your life, Henry Rollins says the best, 200 pounds is 200 pounds. Friends come and go. The iron's the iron. And if you don't have a gym, it sucks. And I own a gym. I own a few gyms. I have warehouses that have gym equipment in them that I've always been able to work out at. And my current setup, I'm technically the owner of my gym inside of a rock climbing gym. But when you can't go to the gym, it's like terrible. And it's even worse when there's like no internet, no power, and no one can do anything. So it's like, well, now's a great time to go into the gym for a Slave Fest. Yes, I want to sell you barbells. I want to sell you plates. I want to sell you bumper plates. I want to sell you our new 45s that are thinner than ever. Yes, this is a sales pitch. But at the same time, I'll tell you, it is miserable if you can't go lift. And it is like if someone took your guns away, your ability to eat away, your ability for survival. And now you have to rely on someone else. I went to Anytime Fitness, I think second day of the storm. So I was supposed to work on like a Friday or Saturday. So whatever the day was, I didn't work out the first day. I was like, all right, I got to go to the gym. Went to one place, powers off. Went to call my friend that owns another gym in the area, powers off. Could go to the rock climbing gym and work with no power, but he also has 350, rock climbing gym members that want to get in there. So I don't want to be the guy like, oh, well, why is he in there? So, I'm a business owner, so I get that. So I'm not going there. So I go to Anytime Fitness and I knock on the door and they got the lights on and some guy opens the door. It's just another patron with his headphones on. Didn't ask me anything. I went in, I lifted and I was like, I'll make this right later. So I went to their website that night and I tried to buy a membership and struggled. They don't take payment easily. It's like, take your phone number. They'll call you later, but then that they don't have employees because the power's out. And so I went to go again today and it was staffed. And I was like, hey man, I was here the other day. I need to lift. He's like, I can't even process the payment. I'm like, I live down the street. I own this company. Here's my face. It's all over it. And he's like, oh man, that's cool. The owner's a Marine. He just bought this place. I'm like, great. He's about to get some awesome plates. But I got to lift. And so got to lift in, but I just learned from it. And this is, walking distance. I live in the city, but if you don't have a home gym or at least a barbell, and I was at the point when at first I didn't think I was going to be able to get into that place. I was like, I have a barbell hangs behind my head in all my YouTube videos. I can grab that. And I have 8 45s in my office. There's no power, but I can go in the power parking lot. I can clean and press and I can deadlift and I'll be fine. But if you don't have anything, it's rough. So if you don't have a home gym, get a home gym or at a minimum, get a barbell and some weights. Because it's during when everyone's stressed out and, there's no power and people are upset and there's no water, and there's no food. It's like when you can go to a constant, hey, what do I do every 3 times a week? I lift. And when you can go back to this, Jeff, you've seen this when you've been deployed. I've seen it deployed. It's man, boys, we're going to the gym. And it's you know what? 200 pounds here, 400 pounds here is 400 pounds in America. We use freedom units. I'm lifting. But it just resonated with me again because this was the first time. I remember in California, weather would come. It rarely comes, but it does come. The power would be out. COVID would happen. And I'm like, I'm going to my gym. There's not a soul here. The power's off, but I'm having a great lifting session. So anyway, been wanting to say that. Now I've said it. But you need that freedom.
Home gym.
Yeah. Home gym. You need one.
I'm picking up my squat rack tomorrow.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice.
Lent it to someone. Now you're like, give me that back.
Yeah. It's mine now. Preparing for this next hurricane,
Going in the back of my truck.
Exactly.
It's good. Good segue. Kaylee and I lifted at the the backyard shed gym this morning, and
hell yeah.
So I was deadlifting, kind of out on like the little like patio area because I don't think the floors are really strong enough in the actual shed. And then she wanted to squat, so we ran into this for the first time. We were like, "Oh, we need more plates."
Yeah,
I was like, man, only if I knew of someone that made plates, but we'll get on the internet. I think we'll Google around and try to find some plates.
Yeah, Google around, see like, best Chinese plates that are inaccurate.
Yeah, we're really going for the bargain. We want cheapest plates out there.
Cheapest place.
Yeah,
don't care what they actually
hard to
weigh.
grip.
Weigh 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Whatever the opposite of E-coated is, F-coated, would that be? I don't know. Yeah.
Designed to look terrible in your gym.
If only you had bumpers that were 45s, but they were a little bit thinner.
Oh man.
So you could fit more. That would be nice.
So I gotta say, and I wasn't gonna go here, Jeff, but you're pushing me there. You're twisting my arm.
Oh, that's what I like to do.
So like I walk into the gym and I'm super grateful. I'm like, oh man, like especially the first day when like some rando just let me in, and I'm just like, I'm so grateful. I'm like, and I'm also like, I'm kind of glad I'm stronger than everyone in here because no one's gonna come in and walk up to the strongest guy, and I'm not the strongest guy in every room, but at Anytime Fitness,
at a commercial gym,
I'd be willing to bet some money at Anytime Fitness in downtown Greenville during a hurricane. I'm probably the strongest. So no one's going to come up and be like, hey, where's your membership card? So I'm actually having a good workout. And then I'm like, this squat rack sucks. Like I can only move it up 6 inches at a time. Yeah. And then I'm like, these bars, no center knurl, like 31 millimeters. And then I look over in the corner. What do I see? A Texas power bar.
No way.
And I'm like, no way. So I take that, I squat with it, and then I bench with it. And I'm like, this is great. And I'm thinking like, man, like Texas Power Bar's been around a lot longer than the Strength Co. Like we got our plates in a lot of places. I'm like, what are the odds that? I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I just got to grow my business more. So I have the workout. And then today I'm in there and I'm talking to the guy from Iowa.
Corn fed.
Yeah. Asked him what the heart of the Midwest was. He said Iowa. But anyway, he comes out. I'm working out. He lets me work out. I'm deadlifting 455 sets across, and I don't have my belt or any of that stuff. But he hears it. And he comes out. He's like, man, I love to hear that sound. And I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, that's a brand new deadlift platform. He's like, the owner just got it. And I was like, oh, it's great. Like, cause it's one of those platforms with the wood center, rubber mats on the side, but it's like inlaid. And beneath the rubber mats, they actually had foam for like deadening, because they're like beneath an apartment. And I'm like, yeah, they did a great job. He's like, no, he just got it. And I was like, yeah, no, it's great. I was like, you got to like give this guy my number. I was like, I'd love to like help him outfit some stuff. I was like, he has one good bar here. He's like, how do you know that's a good bar? I was like, well, this is a Texas Power Bar. He's like, no, I know that's his personal one from his garage. Cause he was like, I bought this Anytime Fitness, but I don't like coming in here and there's no good bars. I was like, oh, just wait till he gets his hands on good plates. But I say all that to say, so I'm trying to be grateful. And then I'm with these like Hampton plates that like are inaccurate, and they like try to put a handle on it, but the handle like spins. Yeah. And they're just like terrible.
They break too.
Yeah, they break. There was like a few broken ones in there. And I'm just like, man, like once you've worked out with quality stuff, and here I am, like during a hurricane, tons of people don't have power. Don't get me wrong, listeners, very grateful to be working out. But I'm thinking like, man, like good equipment. Once you work with it, when you go to work with something else, like the bench must have been 8 inches wide. And I don't have the biggest back in Greenville. And I'm like, how does anyone bench press on this bench? Anyway, that's my home gym plug, if you want to call that a plug.
That's all right.
There you go. Do we have a video now?
It's for the people. That was the video.
There you go.
There we go.
Why you need a home gym during hurricane prep supplies.
That's the title.
Yeah. Hurricane supplies, barbell. Yeah. Anyway, well, Trey, as you do at every portion of the show, you want to take us? Oh, sorry. Trey's not here and we're just getting started.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
He's at Anytime Fitness.
Yeah. He's at Anytime on one Texas Power Bar. He would probably say in Texas, they just call that a power bar.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
In China, they just call those plates.
Yeah. Tough to do against tall grass.
He's out there mowing the grass right now. That's what he's doing. That's why he's not here.
Yeah. I just went super like sergeant enlisted and went way too long in the agenda Sir, Major Broggi, slides.
Are you tracking?
I'm tracking.
Not a lot of slides. I'll throw one like teaser out, something that Trey and I are working on, and we make it.
Ooh.
Well, I think we're debating if we want this to be a surprise for you, or if we want collaboration from y'all. But we're working on like an OK podcast, country music top 10 songs.
Oh.
So we're like, okay, like I got a little bit of traction when we were breaking down that other list, and now we're like, okay, well, if we made a list, okay, what would be on there? Like, who makes the cut? So we've been kind of going back and forth
because you made it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can defend the choices and talk about why we slated people where. So we're working on a Apple Music playlist. I know you're a Pandora guy, married
Pandora
into a Spotify family.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
So we don't want to throw
It's a
Apple
mixed
Music
family.
at you also.
Yeah. Ugh, just what I want.
Blended family. That's what
Another
they call it.
app to download. Yeah. I'm an interracial music family.
Yeah.
We're inner music. So top 10 countries. So it's like Chris Christopherson, Jack White, Janis Joplin. R.I.P. Chris. That's why I bring him up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's just Jack White, but it's a country play. Yeah. So
It's just 10 Jack White songs.
country.
it'd be great if he did a country album.
I don't know. Did you like when Post
it'd be
Malone did that?
Yes.
It was okay. I've seen some of the other like Post Malone covers of country music. But
I like
know how
Post
felt
Malone
about some of
covers. I did
his.
not like his country album.
Yeah.
I thought that, it was decent. Like it's listenable.
Yeah. But I'm
his
not like
last
seeking
song
it
was
out again.
decent. Yeah, but everyone he did with someone, I'm like, not only is this not great, but you took a name I really liked, and now like that's not that great. You're a fan? You just like the range.
I'm a fan that he did it.
Range.
Yeah, no,
I love
the
it.
range's cool.
I do love that he
Yeah.
did it. Yeah.
Well, I just like
I'm with
more
you on there.
people like making songs about what he's making songs about. You know, there were some good ones in there. Like
MEXICO.
what?
There's a song in there where he spells out Mexico.
Oh yeah, that one. And then what was it? There's one about a daughter.
I was like, did I spell
Right.
that wrong?
Yeah, I just couldn't spell that fast. That was tricky. And no, I just like that he's expanding and like the range, like you said, is fun.
Jack
Even if it's not like fully developed yet, he's not fully developed in his country era. It's like someone goes and hits a 225 deadlift for the first time. You're like, hey man, like that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 wheels,
Yeah.
baby.
2 wheels.
2 wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did produce, was it Loretta Lynn's Banlieue Rose album? He was the producer on that. And
I did read
he's
that
featured on
tidbit.
one of the songs, the Portland, Oregon song. Yeah. So he's in there a little bit. He's
dummy.
He's dipped his toe slightly.
Yeah.
Well, it stands in contrast to other people who collaborate with country music artists. For example, there was a recent Beyonce album where she put out a song. She remade Jolene and had like the blessing of Dolly Parton, I suppose. Like there was like a recording of Dolly Parton, like, "Oh girl, I love that you're doing this song," something like that. And she remade it. And this is now going into the op-ed portion of this. I think she ruined the song Jolene, that's a contender at least for top country songs, I would say.
Oh, it's a great song. Yeah.
I haven't heard that. It's at least a contender. It's terrible because she ruined it.
Sounds like I don't need to hear it, but now I just hear it.
Because the core of Jolene is like she's at her lowest. She has nothing. All she can do is just ask this girl to not take her man. Right. So it's like it hits you like at a core. And then Beyonce like changed the lyrics, same melody and vibe and everything. But it's like without the expletives, it's more of like, hey girl, like don't touch my man or I'm gonna kill you. You can never take my man. I was like, okay, like that's fine, but you just ruined what makes Jolene beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. And the words of Matios, former guest of the OK podcast.
Shout out.
This Ain't Texas goes hard. That's Beyonce's song. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
That is
she had one like she played with the Dixie Chicks a few times.
We just call those chicks around here.
Yeah.
Chicks.
Yeah. R.I.P. They're the chicks now. Yeah.
I hate George W. Bush, and you'll never sell another album.
Oh,
way to know your demographic.
Yeah, that was not the best business move on their part.
R.I.P.
They have some good songs though.
Yeah, Wide Open Spaces.
Yeah.
Okay, so working on top 10 country coming soon.
Yeah, it's a little teaser. Do you want to dive into college football?
Yeah, I think we should. We got about 10 minutes for our guest gets on. We got a guest tonight. Trey is out. If you're listening on the audio and just wondered if his microphone was broken, he's got some family stuff going on.
Nothing to say.
Yeah, so he's out tonight, but the show goes on. I think we just go right into Alabama, Georgia.
I think that's the natural first topic.
Did it seem to you like? Oh no, I can't remember the guy's name, and I've said it to my. What's the 17-year-old?
Oh, Ryan Williams.
Ryan Williams. I was going to say Travis Hunter, and that is not a joke off last week's podcast. But Ryan, that play did not look real.
No,
like I've watched it. I've probably watched it 75 times.
Even I saw that,
and but it doesn't look. It's like the way he catches, spins, stops, starts, changes direction.
Don't he like tip it up?
Like
he doesn't catch it, tips it, catches it.
It doesn't even look like a video game. Like, I mean, I know what you mean by that, and that is a accurate analogy, but it's, I watch it and I'm like, was this a mistake? Like, is it rigged? Like, it just looked so, I don't know.
Is this a conspiracy?
No. Ooh. Alabama, I mean, I think we all said Alabama was going to win.
Screwed.
It was like, wait, seriously? And what, were the Dogs down 21-0 or 28?
Did he get 28? I think it was 28.
I think it was 21. 28. Yeah, I think it was 28. Yeah, 21 and a half, 28. Yeah. Anyway, crazy game.
17.
Yeah, he's 17.
17.
How's he playing?
He's 17. NIL.
Is he?
I don't know.
Finished
Is he in college?
School, he finished up
college.
School early, like got all his stuff like cleared to go play in college. And dude.
Sounds like a smart move.
I guess this ain't Texas.
Maybe it's AI.
Yeah.
I guess there was some chatter about like his like eye black kind of strip.
Yeah.
That's a kill everybody.
Which is from what movie? What movie, Jeff? Yeah. Dude, even I knew that one.
Wait, why are they mad about that?
Well, I think people I don't think understood the reference. That's what I think.
Does this make me crazy that even if it wasn't a movie reference, I think that's fine?
No, I don't think that makes you crazy. But I think no one got the reference and they were just like, oh, now we're going to let NIL players that are taking money and representing a school, kill everyone in their face. I'm not saying like, I think it's bad. I just mean that was the thing. And I was like, that's from the program. I know that movie. Yeah.
I mean, you're an athlete on the football field. Isn't that exactly what every player's thinking in the locker room?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've never seen cameras in the locker room.
Ooh, get them out of there.
Get them cameras out of the locker room.
Yeah, that game just felt like tale of two halves. Alabama came out with like the perfect game plan in the first half. Georgia made some adjustments and was like, okay, because I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, is Georgia like actually not good? And Alabama's like really good. And then, they went in at halftime, made some adjustments. There weren't any cameras there to document it, so we won't know what those changes were. We won't know.
But keep the cameras out the locker room. There's a guy on X called Sandlapper Spike. He runs potential sponsor, Sandlapper Spike. He runs the Football Arsenal. Once does a deep dive on, or the Sports Arsenal does a deep dive on Citadel football every game. I mean, I'm talking about what the wind speed is. And the last time Citadel beat ETSU when they won the coin toss and the toss was tails. I'm not kidding. That's the level of minutia that this guy goes into. And a lot of times I'm like, come on, like what the coin toss was doesn't matter. But the stat I saw that does matter is Kirby Smart's record against everyone and compared to Alabama. So he's like 86-6 or something. And he's 1-6 against Alabama. Since becoming a head coach at Georgia, I probably messed those numbers up slightly, but it's that drastic.
Feels about right.
And then he was the defensive coordinator there. And it's just like, man, Alabama has the Dogs number.
For real. For real. And it looks like, and it seemed like they were thinking about that game all season, because I guess like, there was some stat they threw out during the telecast that was like only twice all year has Alabama rushed more than 4 guys or something like that. So they wanted no film out there of like what their blitzes and stuff looked like. So they were thinking about this game since week 1 and kind of like setting things up for that, I think. So
Bama was.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting to see that they were.
So you would say they were ready to eat the dogs?
They were ready to eat the dogs. Yeah.
My nephew.
They're from Springfield?
My nephew's a freshman
Ohio team.
He's a freshman in Georgia. And my, let's see, sister-in-law by marriage's sister's son, whatever that is a senior at Alabama. So they went to the game together. And there's like they're like together. My nephew's like in a Georgia polo and they're holding this big sign. It's an Alabama sign. Like I would have never taken this photo as a Georgia fan, but like my nephew's like probably the nicest kid in the world. And he's with like his older cousin and it's Trump. And he's like pointing and to like the Georgia symbol, but there's like a big Alabama symbol, and then it says they're eating the dogs. And I just thought it was funny. I was like, that's good. So good. And then he was at the game, and the place like went bananas. Have you seen those videos?
Yeah,
dude. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It was like, wow. I know what the greatest walkout in college football is. It's when Cocky comes out in that cockaboose and they start screaming Gamecocks. But if you really want college football reaction, put Donald Trump in 2 Southern SEC schools this stadium and then put him on the big screen. That was insane. Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, they're eating the dogs.
That's just funny, dude.
Oh, it was funny. Speaking of cats,
I like it.
Hasn't been eaten yet, for the record.
Yeah, he's not going to Ohio. Survived the storm. Good job, Calhoun.
Dude, another thing is that like ever since all these like big time stadiums have transitioned over to like the LED lights that they can like change the colors and like flash them on and off, I'm like, dude, those games have to be in like that. Just ramps up like just the hype factor,
the lighting,
and just makes it this crazy environment. That stadium was Gamecocks nuts.
Yeah, the Gamecocks redid their lights. I want to say it's been when Beamer got there that year.
Okay.
And I took Diana to a game against a team that shall not be named, but they're Cats. And we lost badly. But like when they played Sandstorm, like synchronized with the lights, I'm like, this is like insane. Just by like changing the lights. What was it that Rimpy used to always say? You just like he'd walk into a bar and be like, man, if they gave me my iPod Touch and let me have access to the lights, this place would be bumping. Just put on the right song and dim the lights a little bit.
Lights make a big difference, man.
Yeah,
it's real.
Before the guest gets on here, what else college football? So Georgia, Alabama, big game. A&M won.
A&M did win. They did win.
Auburn lost to Arkansas.
Yep, that was upsetting. But it's okay. They're going to win out the rest. I'm only going to be off a couple games, I'm pretty sure. So they're going to win out the rest of the games. They're going to win out the rest of the games. Oh, dude, they got to. Oh, that was tough. That was tough. The one thing you couldn't do on that play, he throws a pick. Just like you could take a sack there, it would have been okay. Incomplete, anything. And that was just the one outcome. And then
that's what we call Gamecock behavior.
Yeah. And then I got me thinking, I was like, maybe we're just in that rough. We're going to go through a rough phase for here the next, 8 years ish or whatever. And you know what? Like it goes around.
Yeah. Especially in this new SEC where everyone's in the SEC.
Everyone.
Gonzaga's joining the Pac-12.
I saw that.
Saw that today. Most exciting team in college football, Citadel, lost to Eastern Tennessee State University.
Oof.
Get them
it was a good game, though. Yeah, it was like, I want to say it was 28-21 them, and we were driving down. It was either a fumble or a pick, and then it went the other way. And so then it became like a 14-point lopside where it's actually like closer late in the third. But they lost. Gamecocks had a bye week. Old Miss this week at home where Garnett
Dude,
Kentucky, man,
that defense.
I just keep thinking if the referees did not steal that from the Gamecocks with LSU, I would be riding so high, probably too high. I'd be the highest. But yeah, it's interesting. It's
yeah.
It's going to be weird how it shakes out.
One thing I had posted in the slide deck, if we got time for it, so it's going to list off the top 10 teams currently, and then you guys can pick. All right, who do you think is legit? Like, okay, this person, they'll stick around. They'll be a playoff contender, and then who's just hanging out there for the moment and it's going to drop out maybe of the top 10 or top 25. So who's for real and who's pretending?
I'm going to use vibes for this. And I'm probably going to be more accurate.
You're probably more accurate. I'm going to go off of like historical data because I'll be honest, out of college football this past weekend, one, the Gamecocks weren't playing. Two, there was a hurricane coming through. So I I saw what I needed to see, but I'd missed a lot, but I'm still down. Yeah. All right, go ahead. We're going to start at number 10 and go up, I assume.
I like that. All right. Currently number 10 is Michigan, newly promoted to the top 10, moved up 2 slots after their win.
Not real. By not real, we mean make the playoffs, which is a 12-team playoff, right?
I guess then should we do top 12?
Yeah. Do you have that handy?
I do.
Okay.
So number 12. Number 12. Here we go. Ole Miss.
They're real.
Okay.
Okay.
If we're going towards not real as not making the playoffs, I'm going to say not real.
Interesting.
Because I think the Gamecocks are going to beat them, and that'll put them in a 2-loss team, and that'll be tough to come back from.
So they're fake.
Okay.
Yeah, they're fake news.
Pretending. The pretend USC, or some others might call it, is Southern Cal.
The Trojans. Go ahead.
Fake.
Yeah, fake. That's fake news.
Yeah. All right, Michigan. Kind of covered them.
Yeah, I think fake.
Okay. So far
I have no one so far.
Everyone's pretending. It's like, I think no one makes the play.
The bar is not bending.
All right, number 9, Missouri.
I think that's a real team.
Okay.
Fake.
Fake. Okay.
Just feels fake.
Jeff?
I like this. I don't think they're going to make the playoff. I don't think they're going to stick around. I think, yeah. Miami.
Real, because I have to.
Yeah, you do kind of.
I thought you might say that.
I'm gonna say fake.
Ooh.
Jeff?
I haven't decided. I keep thinking that they're not actually good, but then they keep winning, and their quarterback keeps looking really good, even though he throws from below the waist, but somehow it gets through the offensive and defensive line.
You can't say that vibes work on Miami because the city is a vibe.
It means it works more.
Old Miss.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that doesn't count.
No, the whole city is a vibe.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Penn State.
I don't like how many times I'm saying fake.
No, fake. That just feels no, Miami's going to beat them.
I got to start saying real.
Yeah, I don't know about Penn State. Yeah, I'm gonna say real. I hope they stick around.
Okay. Right,
number 6,
previous guest.
Ooh, shout out.
Yeah.
Number 6, Oregon, sponsor. The Ducks.
Real.
They're real.
Oh,
Oregon's real.
I'm a big Pacific Northwest guy.
Okay.
Craig Robinson taught me that.
Yeah, I think they're real. I think they're gonna win. What conference are they even in now?
The Pac-3. Pac-West?
Well, I guess they got to be Big 10.
Big 10? I don't know. The Ducks are real.
Okay. Number 5, Georgia.
See, that's weird because I think that. Yeah, I think that's real. We're back again. We're back to getting the playoffs. That's real.
Yeah.
That loss is probably exactly what they needed if they wanted to win another national championship because you can't win forever.
Yeah,
I'm a
Patriots
Patriots fan. At some point, you got to lose. 18-1's tough. You'd much rather be 9-1 earlier on in the season and finish 18-1 and have won everything.
But okay.
I think they're real.
Yeah, I think they're real too. I think they'll get it figured out. I think again, Alabama like geared up so much for that game, but I think in like a 1 week, 2 week to prepare, there's a whole season of, I think they'll be able to get past people. Like I think if they play Alabama again, I think they would beat them.
Yeah,
that'd be my guess. All right, number 4 is Tennessee Volunteers.
Real. Tennessee's going to do good.
Yeah. A couple times I've watched them, I've been actually really impressed. I thought like, all right, this is just whereas I think Ole Miss is maybe going to get exposed as like kind of like an NIL grab that doesn't actually pan out. Like it looks really good in the preseason, but then it turns out like, oh yeah, these guys haven't all played very long together. So it's like, but I don't know. Tennessee just keeps looking really good. Number 3 is Ohio State.
Fake.
Yeah, I mean the Midwest is fake, but in terms of the playoffs, I think they're real.
Same.
Yeah, but I like that take from a Midwesterner.
It's
number
because
2,
Ohio's like half Midwest. That's why.
But is it Midwest?
Is it? I mean, it is directly above
directly
Georgia.
North of Georgia. For the folks out there that didn't know this, go ahead and consult your map, and you'll see directly north of Georgia.
Pull it out.
That's why I said half, man.
I didn't find out until I was 33, but Ohio is above Georgia.
God, I'm never going to get over that.
No, me neither. It doesn't seem real.
All right, number 2 is newly demoted despite winning, Texas.
I think they're real.
Real. They'll make it.
In Texas, we just call that football.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sorry, I didn't know where to go.
Yeah, I think they're real. We'll see what, I guess.
They're 5-0.
Quarterback controversy on their hands. But what do you do? Quinn Ewers or
Manning?
Arch Manning?
They're 5-0.
Yeah, 5-0.
That's tough to do against tall grass, man.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
then number 1, Alabama.
Yeah, they're real. Okay, hot take coming in. I got 2 teams coming in. Colorado and the Gamecocks.
Ooh. Do we think Colorado's? I want to believe.
I don't care if I think. I want. So therefore, it will be.
I just know it's not the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Looking at,
I'm not even looking at a top 25, and those are the 2 teams that come to mind.
See, that was just based on vibes.
I was going to throw Utah in there.
Ooh, the Utah
as a sneaky like get into the playoff. But they lost this past weekend at home to Arizona. So I was like,
I saw that.
But backup quarterback, Zach Wilson's younger brother. He was playing. They got to get Cam Rising back. Shout out to Cam Rising. Not super frequent, but does shop at the Patagonia store here in Salt Lake City.
Ooh, yeah, nice. Potential sponsor.
Hey,
put on your slide deck that Patagonia Instagram reel I sent you for post guest.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. Let me let this guest in here.
Not really.
Welcome to episode 040 of the OK Podcast, powered by the Stranko. We have one sponsor, BW Tax. Actually, we didn't mention it earlier in the show. BW Tax without power right now. BW Tax Advisory Group, located in Greenville, South Carolina, but they could do your taxes anywhere. We'll introduce our guests in a second, but guests, pay attention because you may be asked to read a ad read later. But BW Tax without power, but you call that phone. Doesn't matter if he's in the heart of a hurricane or he's somewhere else. That guy will still answer your tax questions. You could be a Marine, Master Sergeant, potential for being a Master Gunnery Sergeant one day, going to retire at high 2 and wondering, how do I navigate dependents, girls going to college, a wife, a cat? What do I do with my cat when I move? And the government makes taxes difficult, but BW Tax is there to do that. So big thanks to our sponsors, BW Tax. And with that, Jeff, why don't you introduce tonight's guest?
All right. Joining us tonight, we've got Master Sergeant Brandon Teel, coming from the
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go.
Very fitting, very fitting. But yeah. Served with both of us, Grant and myself, way back in the day. We were young second lieutenants, and there was at the time Staff Sergeant Teel getting us under his wing, keeping us warm and dry, coffee flowing through our veins, dip, cigarettes, all that stuff happening in the FDC. It was a good time. So yeah, go back, and I know Grant's worked with him again at I&I duty at 514. So is there anything else you want to throw in there?
No, now I get a 14th Marines Regiment. He's got 2 daughters. One of them's a volleyball stud. He's got a cat. To this day, he's the best. I'll tell a sad story real quick, and then we'll start peppering him with questions. But so let's just say that Brandon, I'm gonna call you Brandon tonight. I've never called you Brandon in my life, but Brandon is a NASCAR fan. I mean, Brandon, anything that Brandon puts his mind to, he knows more details than you do. So one of them is NASCAR, one of them is politics, one of them is the inner mechanisms of an upper receiver of any firearm that you could possibly own. The inner workings of the Marine Corps, politics, everything that Israel's up to. The guy is a wealth of information. But let's just say that someone made a shirt that says, "Let's go." And then it's a picture of Brandon in front of a NASCAR car. And I may own that t-shirt, and I may have set that t-shirt aside tonight, but I may have set it in a place that also is where dirty laundry goes. And I may have also been on 3 hours of conference calls right before this podcast for the United States Marine Corps, hoorah, and went up and said, "Where's the shirt?" And it was in the wash. And she's like, "I just put it in," and I opened it, and literally I saw his face and water was just pouring on. So I was going to wear that t-shirt tonight. I'm sorry.
Waterboarded.
I meant well. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
How would you describe your Teel, your tour, Teel? How would you describe, like, I don't know, your time in the Marine Corps?
I think the best way to describe it is just chaos. It's been utter chaos. It doesn't matter whether it's, where you go, what you do, or who you meet. That's how it's been. It's been a rough, 21 years coming up here soon. And, I wouldn't trade it for the world. You meet some of the best people, and those are Marines.
Met us too. So I do have to say something, a little lens as a couple of field grades sitting around here drinking coffee. But, when you're young in the Marine Corps and dumb with a gold bar on your collar, you see Master Sergeant or Gunnery Sergeant, I don't want to take away. It's even Staff Sergeant, not even Staff Sergeant, but you see this and you think experience, and the experience really is there. Like, it's actually there. But you also think age. At least I did. And I came in, Jeff and I both came in a little bit later into the Marine Corps. But now I look at you, I still see more experience and way more time than me. But I'm like, man, you got 21 years in the Marine Corps and you're not 40. Like, it's kind of a weird deal. Yeah. Like, when you compare it to other businesses and other things, like most time you see a CEO, the guy's 58. And here's this long thing. But like, when you look at the Marine Corps and you look at the top, and obviously there's outliers, there's generals, there's sergeant majors that won't leave. There's tippy tops that you're like, just go away already. I'm kidding. But there's obviously outliers, but you're at 21 years, you're in zone for master guns, but you're not 40. When you look at your life, are you is there okay, I'm going to start the next chapter, turn the page, if you will, and there'll be a whole nother thing? Or how does that, do you know what I'm getting at? The age versus experience? Cause you have a ton of experience, but you're still young.
Yeah, I do. I usually look at myself. I still see a, 16, 18-year-old kid, at the peak of my dysfunctional youth. And it's crazy to go now to to Lavina, my oldest daughter's volleyball game, and see an adult out there, playing volleyball, and just think that that's my kid. And to me, I'm as old as she is, mentally, physically, dog years. Absolute dog years. So
yeah. All right, so you're at 21 years. well, I've already told the listeners, Master Gunnery Sergeant, I've talked to you in depth before. I know, like, if you get that option, you're going to, serve a few more, but you're 39, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So let's say you, I don't know, retire at 42. Maybe it's 43. Maybe it's 44. It doesn't make a difference. But like sometime in the next probably 5 years, you're done. When you like look forward, what's next for a guy that since he was a dysfunctional 16-year-old that wanted to be a Marine, like where do you go? Like, where do you go next? And have you thought about that? And do you feel like mentally you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready for the next chapter? Or does it seem like daunting?
No, I have no idea what I want to be when I grow up. It's I'm kind of holding off until I'm more, I guess, stable, moved back home. Main focus is just being a father and a husband, in this long distance where I'm 500 miles from family. Yeah, it's definitely tested some things. Yeah, I wouldn't say that this was like character or relationship building. I would say that it's character or relationship exposing, And it just means that my marriage is that much stronger. My relationship with my wife, my kids, who obviously I still have a relationship with and want to talk to me for some reason. We're that much better off. So that really is my focus is step one, get home, because, wherever they are, that is home. And then I'll focus on what comes next once I'm there, because we have no real plan to pick up and move out of, where they're living in the immediate, future or immediately after retirement. So, we'll just kind of let it lay where it lay.
Yeah. So, and we'll kick it around and we'll ask questions. We had different perspectives. PJ here, not a Marine. Jeff here, is basically a Mormon. So we got some different viewpoints on life. But no, so your family's in the Carolinas, and I'll leave it broad, Carolinas. I generally like to specify, but for security and all that kind of stuff, we'll leave it broad. But, where are you from originally? And where do you, and I know these answers, but you're done. And the nice thing about if you retire at, 42 as a Marine is you're kind of set up. I'm not saying you won't get another job, but you could kind of live wherever you wanted. Where do you see, where are you going? You going to stay in the Carolinas? You're going to go somewhere else? Are you looking for freedom? Are you looking for gun rights?
Well, I've already made my exodus, originally born and raised in Southern California. Couldn't stand it. Stationed there for, the majority of my career. I just couldn't take it. So, wanted to go somewhere where, like you say, guns, trucks, I'm all about God, guns, and NASCAR. That's what it boils down to. And the Carolinas are a mecca for NASCAR. You've got Charlotte Motor Speedway, you've got North Wilkesboro. And, just going around Charlotte. Yes, absolutely.
Lady in Black.
It's historic. Yep. And so, there's all that. Yeah, there's great history there. And, we'll see if a job opportunity presents itself and it takes me out of there, sure. But, with Lavina graduated, and Athena, my middle one, in high school, she's a sophomore now. We have to kind of weigh that out and see. Plus, we unexpectedly grew roots where, the wife has a good job. She's a sped aide, so she really loves doing the special needs gig there at the school, and the kids have kind of grown on her and vice versa. And so, it's got to be pretty promising, pretty enticing to make us pick up and move out of there. So
yeah, that makes sense.
We'll see.
Jeff, where you want to take him? There's so many directions you could take Teel.
Yeah. We were kind of just looking kind of to the future, right? Post Marine Corps stuff. I'm going to kind of switch gears 180, kind of looking back on things. You said 21 years in the Marine Corps. I know a lot of people, you'll see recruiters throw out there and you spend some time doing that of hey, you'll get to travel the world. You'll get to see all sorts of stuff. So I wanted to kind of ask okay, what's the coolest place that the Marine Corps is taking you, or the place that you were whoa, that was different than anything else I'd ever seen before?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'll put it to you like this. If you were to ask me top 10 favorite places before, I'd gone to some of them. My favorite so far wouldn't have even made the list, and that was actually Mongolia. Mongolia was nuts.
Barbecue?
Yeah.
You're just saying that because Jeff was there.
Hey, were we there at the same time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Conquest. Operation Conquest. That's right. But no, that really was like the coolest place. I like the warrior culture. It's why I joined the Marine Corps. You bring up recruiting, and one of my Tealisms, right? Like when I'm on, my sayings when I was on recruiting. What's that?
I just said, whoa,
Tealism.
He was just registering a Tealism. Yeah, that's good.
Oh.
Continue.
Oh, that's right. It's the first time you're being exposed. Well,
this is new for me,
Strap in, brother.
Get ready.
When's the book?
Put your big boy pants on. But
okay.
No, one of my Tealisms, when kids would ask, like, what's the difference between Marines, and everything else, and I always told them, the difference between the Marine Corps and all the other services is this isn't a job, it's a way of life. And so that warrior culture thing was really important to me. And, going to Mongolia and where, riding horses and being able to shoot a bow, while riding bareback horse and accurately fire arrows at targets. It's just really impressive, how connected they are with that ancient culture. And, I look at the Marine Corps also as ancient, not to be confused or considered a, synonym with old or outdated. Ancient just means, it's rooted in a lot of history and legacy and tradition. And so, going and seeing Mongolia and how connected the people there are and how they just live off the land. The land belongs to the people. They roam, they pretty much camp out in these big round tents called gurs. And where they're kind of sick of the scenery or, their herd's moving on, they just pack it up in a Toyota Hilux pickup or on horseback and they move along. So.
Yeah. Okay. So Mongolia.
Yeah. That was cool seeing, like the little camps and just like then how, things had evolved the technology where, everything used to be on horseback, but now they have like the Hilux or the Land Cruiser that they can like put their stuff in and carry on with their herd. Yeah. Mongolia was super cool.
PJ, an outsider.
All right. I got a question for you. So I don't have enough context. Like I said, not a Marine or a JTAC. And so
we've taught him that much to say that every time he says anything.
Just for the record,
always state this.
I just wanted to state it, that I'm not a JTAC. As someone out looking in, I can just speak from a civilian point of view. So I was kind of curious about talking to someone like you. What's your view sort of on the state of the world, the temperature of things right now? Because this is why I asked this. Sometimes when someone's outside of an organization, they can think, oh my God, this is so terrible. This is crazy. But like people who are experienced, maybe people who've been to combat or something like that, they might say, dude, this is the same stuff's been going on for 20 years or for whatever. Like it's nothing out of the ordinary. Or they might say, no, this is legit kind of crazy right now. So I was just curious, like, you can get as specific or not specific as you want, but just if you're talking to a civilian, like your perspective, what's sort of the temperature of the world right now? Is it sort of as crazy as it seems?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
In terms of like tensions. Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, let's go.
I took it deep on you for a second.
Right. And I'm known to talk. So,
perfect.
I'll keep it, I'll keep it in
Feel
general.
Free.
But, I think that there's a lot of very dangerous, events. The Israel, Iran, like can it lead to World War III? Sure. I mean, many things, could lead us down that path. Who would have thought the assassination of, the Archduke Franz Ferdinand would, turn into the Great War, right? World War I. And we just had 2 assassination attempts on, former President Donald Trump. And so what happens if that were successful? Where does that put us? I think that too, many people rush to pick sides in many of these things, and it's like, if you say anything bad about Israel, you're obviously, pro-Iran. If you say anything bad about Ukraine, you're, a Putin apologist. But there is, you kind of answer the question, I would say that, yeah, there is a lot of history there, unfortunately, people all around the world, good, decent, innocent people, I've seen it, are really just at the behest or the throes of the follies of their own governments, people making decisions and other people having to pay for it. And that's just a sad state of affairs. And it's always been that way, unfortunately, like Isaiah Goldberg, said back in 1888, I think it was, he said, diplomacy is to do and to say the nastiest things in the nicest ways. And that's all they're doing. They're hurling insults and trying to sound professional about it. And at the end of the day, somebody's got to go forward and somebody's got to, stand up for what this person said or what that person, their actions, what they decided to do in retaliation to those things. So I think that, yeah, we're definitely potentially on the precipice of some bad stuff, but I don't think we've crossed that yet. And, it all comes down to decisions, and poor decisions mean that the wrong people have to pay, and the right ones, hopefully we can prosper. So we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because when you think of it from that way, you look at like Israel, Iran, tough. And I have my thoughts. Everyone has their thoughts, but I think we all, you got 3 girls, everyone comes down to kids shouldn't be dying. Mom shouldn't be dying. Right. And it's wherever you are in Israel or Iran, it's when you watch both sides, you're well, that's not good for anybody. Right. And so it's just interesting because the longer you stay in the Marine Corps and the more you see these things, I think PJ's onto something of oh, I've seen this before. It's if you're deploying, it's you're going to leave this date. No, actually you're going to leave 2 months before. Actually, you're going to leave 4 months later. Actually, you're going to leave a month before. Actually, you're coming off the boat in. Actually, you're not even going on the boat. Actually, you're going over here. And if you've done that before, you're just don't tell your family anything. Don't do anything about anything. You have no idea. Everything's a day-to-day decision. But it is interesting because when you zoom out, it's I was watching some of the Israel Iran stuff today, and I'm man, this is just terrible. For both sides, right? It's like Asheville, North Carolina, gets wiped off the map this weekend. And there's a lot of stuff I don't like about Asheville. It'd be if I told you, Teel, as a Californian, that San Francisco got wiped off the map. Even you wouldn't be go away, San Francisco. You'd be well, I know you make the joke, but you'd be there's still kids there. There's still people there, right. But you know what I mean? So it all boils down, but yeah, no, that's interesting. We don't want to take you too deep and dark though. We gotta there's so many bright teal memories. We gotta figure out the best way to pick them out. So first I just gotta say, I don't know, let's just take it and I'll just tell the listeners, Teel isn't good at abbreviations, but top 3 car makes and then your favorite and why in, I don't know, 90 seconds. So I'll give you an example. Executive field grade view, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, 350 motor, right? You don't have to be that brief, but well, I know you're a car guy. So you've already talked about Toyota Hiluxes. You haven't even mentioned an American made car. Top 3 makes. And then why you're nope, this is the vehicle I love.
I mean, better than anybody. I'm a Ford guy. So definitely number 1. Number 2, easily Toyota. Number 3, I kind of roll that around because being a truck guy, I want to lean towards, truck manufacturers. But honestly, I think I'd probably go with Honda, just because of their boring reliability. Yeah.
Look at that.
So it just depends on, what you're in the market for.
I got a Honda truck.
Yeah. Honda truck owner over here.
No, you don't. Not a
it's not a truck.
That's a fair take. That's a fair take.
You have a Honda.
That's an SUT.
I have an SUV with some of the back taken off of it. Is that what you're saying?
Right. No roof on the back.
No roof SUV Honda.
Yeah. I hope you got a discount on that passport.
Exactly.
The Honda passport that they just butched the top off.
Yeah. Where's my roof? Yeah. Hey, it hasn't broken down.
No, they are good cars.
Before we leave cars, so I've always wondered this. So you have who's the founder of Ford?
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford, right? I
that's
almost
Elon
said
Musk.
Gerald, but that's just because I'm bad with names. No, but it's funny you say that, Jeff. So we own a Tesla. It's my wife's primary driver, and I own a Chevy. I own 2 Chevys. And that's my primary driver. And it's funny, like a hurricane comes through, and it's like everyone's freaking out about gas. And I'm like, I have a 28-gallon gas tank, and it's full. I'm good. Like, you guys stop freaking out. First thing that comes back online in terms of power is Tesla superchargers. So I'm like, actually, like my wife's also good, and you guys are still trying to fill up your generators, right? And so it's kind of interesting. And I always think there's balance, right? You can't be extreme. You need redundancy, all that kind of stuff. But whenever we talk about anything Tesla, we talk about it with Elon. We're like, oh yeah, Elon's chargers are back up. Elon has a new software update. Elon's Cybertruck just dropped. Do you think Ford, like, is it just because we're current, or is it because the way social media is? But like back in the day, was it like, oh, Henry's made a new great truck? I always wonder this because my dad hates the fact that I own a Tesla. He won't say it to my face, but he'll be like, oh man, how many times did you stop on the way to Beaufort? I'm like, Dad, I technically stopped once, but it's because my pregnant wife had to pee. So you had to charge, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, no, like you live 250 miles from me. I could have made it. But like just the internal mindset of like Teslas can't do anything is funny. And then he always says Elon too. And so anyway, I'm just curious. I always think it's funny. Henry, like you think back in the day, they were like, oh, Henry came out with the new Model A. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, that definitely happened.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody picks sides. So, you had the Lewis Chevy people. I'm sure they were saying the same thing back then, the Dodge brothers and good old Henry Ford.
Dodge brothers sounds the coolest in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's like brothers. It's like,
right.
It's like the Killer Bees.
Yeah, it's like, Vin Diesel, family.
Yeah.
So what's your take on Teslas then? If Hondas aren't trucks, then Teslas have to be like RC cars or something.
Right. It's just a laptop.
It's just a laptop.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it's like an Afatids.
Could you imagine?
It's an MTS shop.
That would be the worst car ever. An Afatids with wheels. It would be so bad.
Right.
Hang on. What was the saying they say in the schoolhouse? I have to clear my map or take a lap around the map.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Close my map.
Yeah. Map. Take a lap.
Yeah. Close map. Take a lap. Something like that.
Something like that.
Sorry, that was the officer side of Afatids.
Yeah, definitely. I
really
just
deep
remember
dive on it.
Pull pin, clear charts, and
that's right.
I
just remember shelf fuse volley model charge. Yeah, that little IPF screen. Yeah, bunch of artillery talk there. All right, Jeff, what else you got for big Brandon? Just
kind of quickly, this popped in my head. You mentioned Toyotas. What do you think of the kind of the revamped Land Cruiser? How do you feel about that?
I just saw the first one on the road. Sunday, I think it was.
Okay.
I like them. I like where they're going with it. Putting the Tacoma power plant in there, the new 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. And I heard rumors that they're going to do like a hybrid thing, which I think is actually a really good idea. And Toyota is really leading, the charge with hybrid technology.
Pun intended. Leading the charge with hybrid. Yeah. Sorry.
But
like, wait, what?
I got there.
Unfortunately, they're going with, they're not going with these heavy, lithium ion, like tons of rare earth mineral batteries. They're looking at more sustainable stuff. And, when I go home, I rent cars, and it gives me an opportunity to drive something that I wouldn't normally drive, not rack up a bunch of miles on my own truck, I'm genuinely impressed by every Toyota that I've driven so far. I've driven, Corolla, Camry, and then my favorite was the Crown. That has a 2.4 non-turbo, but it is it was a hybrid system, and it's just really well sorted out, And so, yeah, I think it's great. I like that they went back to a more narrow, platform, better for trail riding and stuff like that, instead of going with the big SUV thing. It was never what it was intended to be. So, yeah, I think it's a good direction.
Agreed. Yeah, I was thinking like, maybe like Bronco is like the car in my future here. My Jeep finally just completely dies. But then I saw, one of those new Land Cruisers, and I was like, oh, that's nice. But they're pricey, but they are nice. Look, I like them. Yeah.
What's your Jeep though? Is that like a 06?
Mine's a 2012. Yeah.
Oh, it's that new. Okay. How many miles you got on that thing now?
98,000 something.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going to go any minute.
I know. But it really is. Like that's like clockwork for Jeeps.
Absolutely. That's what Jeep stands for. Just empty every pocket. So, just blow money on those things. Nothing good to say about them, honestly.
That's what I'm kind of like, Toyota, I'll never have to worry about it ever again. Maybe that's the move.
Yeah.
Definitely.
PJ, what you got next?
Should we talk about working out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
All right. What's your, before I get into there, what's your pull-up record? I know you're a Marine.
I mean, the best I've done.
20 wins.
23, like 23 actual pull-ups, which, is where we max out as Marines, for score for the physical fitness test. And for me, that was huge. Long story short, not a cool story. I fell off a Humvee and dislocated my left shoulder.
Must have been a Jeep.
Might as well. But yeah, fell off a truck and dislocated my left shoulder. And it was right here, when I regained consciousness. And so getting back on that horse, and being able to do, anything over, I'd say probably 10, 12 was, was something for me. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what do you like to do for working out now? Stay in shape.
Man, yeah. Well, I don't run because it makes me tired, and I don't like to lift weights because they're heavy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's true. That's so true.
I do my 16-ounce curls,
Hey,
man,
brother.
There you go.
No, honestly, just because I'm always kind of pushing the Marine Corps standards, believe it or not. I really stick to cardio and calisthenics. Just naturally being a bigger guy and not wanting to fight with, the standards that are in place, institutionally in the Marine Corps. I want to maintain functional fitness, and a lot of what we do is being able to move, yourself and your equipment, and so bulking isn't necessarily the answer. Definitely discovered that as a mortars platoon sergeant, spending a lot of time, hiking, 70-pound pack on my back, and approximately 45 pounds of gear between, full combat load and the armor and stuff that we wear. So that's kind of dictated, the path that I take for physical fitness.
How do you feel about the standards? So some people have said that they should be different. Some people love them. Do you think that the standards are good standards, like in terms of the body weight versus the exercises versus the anything?
So I absolutely agree that we have to have standards, right? I mean that's what sets us apart from not just other services, but other institutions, period. And we do, we have a very serious job, but what I will say is that they're antiquated. When you look at the height weight charts as you increase, in height and like that allowable weight, it's unrealistic, especially around 70 inches or 5'10". Because then after 5'10", they only give you like 5 or 6 pounds per inch. And, that honestly doesn't make sense. And at the time that they, derived those tables and came up with that, looking at the average height of a male at the time, I don't think they had a very realistic expectation of what somebody, that height should weigh, because most people were not. We're talking about, clear back to 1957. Now, I'm not saying that they haven't updated things, but it's still, very, very close. Mimics the original standards back then, when the average height of a man was maybe 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah.
So I think we need to take a more realistic look at, what a 5'10" or a 6'2".
What are you, 6'2", 6'1"?
On a good day, I'm 6'2". Yeah.
Okay. And Jeff, you're 5'11".
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm 6'1", and like none of us are allowed to be more than 215 pounds, which is
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the funny thing is, like, you can be over that weight, right? But there's that taboo that comes with getting taped,
that's very
true.
Yeah.
And nobody likes that. I know growing up in the Marine Corps, it was like literally every time you stepped on that scale and you were over that max weight, that staff sergeant or that gunny, was always looking at you. He goes, "You're fat. Go get taped." And so, nobody likes that. So it's like,
no one likes that. Yeah. All right. So I got a quick question for you. That's kind of fun, but serious. So you were out in the field with us. We were just up in Fort Drum, New York, shooting for some SEAL teams. So we're basically Teel Team 5 now.
Whatever the teams want.
Whatever the teams want, we do it for them. But you may have been there for this conversation. I'm not talking about how I like things in my coffee. I'm talking about when you're wearing like your flak and your Kevlar and your rifle. So we're not talking about a pack. We're not talking about being a mortars platoon sergeant hiking. We're talking about a flak, front and back sappies, side sappies, probably an Algina water, whatever your kit is, how you like your magazines and your, writing utensils or whatever, plus your rifle. What do you think all of that weighs? Because like you're wearing it essentially, for however long your exercise is. In our case, 14 days, you're wearing that thing, almost all day. Like, what do you think it weighs? Because everyone thought that my estimate was too high. And I know we could have easily fact checked this, but Marines don't want the facts. They just want to complain. So I want to know, like, flak on, rifle, Kevlar, you're walking around. What's that? Well, how many additional pounds is that?
Well, so I've thrown that on the scale. It's
okay. So
it was 44 pounds.
Let's. Oh, you said okay. No. I said 45 pounds. I was like, I sell weights for a living. 45 pounders are top selling thing. This is 45 pounds sucked in my body. The difference is like your camis can't breathe. And so it feels like even more, but I was like, this is 40 pounds. And people were telling me, no, it's 20. And I'm like, no, it's definitely more. So is it 45 with the M4 or without?
Right. So I had to add, 8.5 pounds for the weapon system. But
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, all right. I was right on that one. Okay. So we know you're a gun guy, and we have to be careful here because this like we could turn Teel loose and go full turn Teel. But I mean, so you got like PJ, gun enthusiast. Jeff and I like guns.
Triarch Systems hat.
Yeah, he's wearing a Triarch Systems hat.
Not a JTAC, just an enthusiast.
Yeah, just an enthusiast. I don't mean that as a bad thing, but I would say like the PJ probably likes guns more than I do. I don't dislike guns. I think everyone should have one. But it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know. Like once you ride in a Humvee, someone that's never seen a Humvee is like, look, it's a Humvee. And you're like, yeah, that thing sucks. Like I have to close the door. The combat lock doesn't work.
It's a hobby for me. It's not my job.
Yeah. So, but if you're like recommending, like, I don't know, PJ's just married. He's moving to North Carolina and he's like, hey, Brandon, like I want to have 3 guns. I want one to like, go hunting with. And you're like, what do you want to hunt? He's like, I don't know. If someone tells me to hunt ducks, maybe turkey, maybe deer, like, I don't know. I'm not really into hunting. I just want a gun for hunting. I want a gun for self-defense. And then I'd like a nice pistol to like go to the range and like work on my pistol stuff. Like, and also I want nothing to cost more than $1,000, meaning each one, which is a big budget in my opinion for guns. Cause you can get a great gun for $300. But
what if he's going to name what I have? This is interesting.
Yeah. So, but like, you're like, what's your hunting weapon? What's your self-defense weapon? and what's your just like, hey, I want a gun to go to the range. And keep in mind with the self-defense weapon, you have to think about what if kids end up in my house, which I know you think of, and also what if my wife needs to use it?
Right. Yeah, I've already got it in the back of my head. Answer's pretty simple. 3 guns that you need. You need a pistol, shotgun, and a rifle. Pistol, okay. Glock 19, 100% Glock 19. Just the commonality of parts.
What I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah. It was my first gun, and I'm not just saying it because that's why, but I've always said it's big enough to fight with, but small enough to carry. Jack of all trades. You've got the commonality as far as the Glock accessories, the aftermarket, but also the magazines. I mean, they're so common, they're so prevalent, and then also the 9mm ammo for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Common, prevalent. You can get it anywhere. Shotgun. You could go one of 2 ways. Me personally, I prefer, anything Mossberg 500 or 590 series. If you're going to use that for waterfowl, you're going to use it as a slug gun, get one that you can obviously interchange the barrel. They are quick and easy, or the Remington 870, anything in the 870 series is going to satisfy all the same things. And then
so far I've got a Glock 19 and a Mossberg 590. So this is hilarious. So far.
Right, let's go to the rifle.
Good.
All right. Well, you got to go with America's rifle. You got to go with the AR-15. Make sure, that it's from a reputable maker, but you can easily find them under $1,000 and get something solid. Whether it's the new Springfield Saints that are out there, those are pretty solid, high quality, but well priced. And I mean, I could rattle off probably 3 dozen AR-15 manufacturers. I won't waste the time. The main thing is that, again, reputable manufacturer. Make sure you have, the full auto rated bolt carrier, which doesn't mean that it's capable. It just means that it's stress test, to take full auto. And that it's, magnetic particle inspected and shot peened and all that. So, those are my big 3 right there. Glock 19, AR-15, and either Mossy or 870.
I've got a cheap AR-15. It's the M&P Sport 2.
Okay.
Basic.
I mean, that's still good.
Yeah.
It works. It works great. Yeah. And the only thing I was going to add was for the hunting, like some kind of hunting rifle, like a bolt rifle, right? I have the another basic one, just a Ruger American 308.
Okay.
Just,
it's a good gun.
Like it's just like, hey, this is going to work for a long time. Does the job. It does one thing, and doesn't break the bank.
No, that is a good gun. I mean, when you need a good deer gun, like dedicated, obviously you could do it with a shotgun, but an actual rifle was a better option. I think the Rugers are very impressive, well priced. And then, I'm actually really, really surprised by how far Savage has come. They were kind of hit or miss there for a while, but especially the Savage 110 series, you get one of those in a 308 or a 300 Win Mag and, you're off to the races right there.
Yeah. All right. So we covered you on guns. We covered you on cars. We covered your Marine Corps career. There is something that I actually don't know the answer to. I think I might know leanings a little bit, but I really don't know the answer. Just laughing at me because he's like, I served with Teel for 4 years. I know everything about him. You've served with him your entire career, which I'm very blessed to say. I've served with you at 3 duty stations and it has been great. Awesome. But I know you're a DJ on the radio. Right. I've tuned into Moon Dust. I know the deal. But what's your music leanings? And well, why don't you just tell them real quick what your DJing experience was?
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't break the crypto bank.
Right. Of course not.
Yeah.
So ran a radio station out of our fire direction center out in the middle of 29 Palms. We had a lot of long nights out there, and we were HIMARS, which is rocket launchers, and it's a 3-man crew in this tiny little cab. I mean, the guy in the middle is sitting like this, practically with his knees up here.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and you're waiting, till 2 a.m. for a mission, and these guys, they're just they're balls of stress, and so I had the idea to fire up a radio station, get on the radio, play songs, and they would send messages digitally from the computer in their, launcher vehicle to our fire direction center. And so I just took on this persona of, DJ Rapid Request on the 95.7 Moondust FM. And, it was a real thing. I
got the voice for it.
Yeah. You have a shirt made
for voices.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry. We're not gonna let you out entire voices. But so you're in your Dodge. No, Ford. Excuse me, Ford. With the wheels. I've ridden in it. Great truck. You're riding around. The wife's busy. The girls, Cadence is out singing Cadence. Like, what do you tune into? Are you like classic rock? Are you country?
Yes.
Okay. So Leonard Skinner is how you identify.
No, I'm a little more of a metalhead.
Okay.
Lamb of God, Sepultura, Pantera, Mastodon, Trivium, all the greats, Metallica. Yeah. But ranging from metal to death metal, but I also love rock, classic rock, country. Pretty much, if they play instruments and sing their own music without auto tune, I'm probably a fan of it.
Okay. What I've always said is Massonomics Teel, where California meets the South. Same. Okay, so we have a little spot in the show. We do have a sponsor, like literally a paying sponsor. And he keeps the lights on for us. You come in here, you call. We appreciate you coming on here late at night after 3 hours of Marine Corps calls, which I was on with you. And, you still come on. You realize that reservists actually have lives outside of it. Believe it or not, more people than just my mother tune in and listen to this, and they go and buy stuff. So we're like super happy you came on here. And so we're super thankful for our sponsor, BW Tax. And he's a tax consultant. And so generally what we do is we go around the room and we just give you like a couple facts about him. And then we ask you to do an on the spot ad read. The only difference with today, and just because I know you can handle it, is one, I might ask you to do two, but if you do two, one has to be John C. Reilly and one has to be George W. Bush, because we know you have voices. And so like, we'll give you the information about it, but I know it's different because John C. Reilly probably views taxes a little bit differently than we do, as does George W. Bush. Like, there, I don't want to steal any of your lines, but you know where I wanted to go with that. So we'll each give you a nugget of information, and then maybe we go John C. Reilly first, and then we take a pause. We can laugh. We can reset the voice in your mind, and then we go to George W. Bush. And like, if Barack Obama wants to fight with Bush during the ad read about current politics, we're okay with it. Anything goes. Yeah, it happens. Like, it happens. Taxes are a sensitive subject, but BW Tax, they're located in Greenville, South Carolina. It's founded by a Yankee from the Northeast, but he moved to the South like you. He fled where he's from because he cared about his family and their longevity. And it doesn't matter if you're a small business, a Marine, a veteran, a small business owner, or a large corporation, he can help you kind of get through the tax laws. Jeff, anything about BW?
Yeah, like Grant kind of said, they're a small team, but they're a dedicated team, right? If you call them, send them an email, anything like that, you're going to get a response. You're going to get a real live person on the other end of that phone call, or someone thoughtfully crafted an email to help you out and get you the help you need for the best return possible.
And I would say that even though he's located in South Carolina, he can do your taxes from anywhere. So just keep that in mind.
So with that, John C.
All right, man, look, I'm telling you, y'all got to go to BW Tax because, he's from the South, like, Talladega Night style. Now, I'll tell you what, if you're looking for somebody, well, he's your guy. And I'm going to tell you why, because it don't matter online or in person. He's going to do them taxes, man. Now, come on, Ricky. Just slingshot me in for a win, man.
That's in there. We have a soundboard. There's 9 buttons on it. 5 have been filled. That's a good one. Oh, yeah. And again, we've never, ever had anyone do 2 tax reads. But, if the listeners are laughing at John C. Reilly right now.
That was so accurate.
Can we go to Midland, Texas, and hear from the former president?
In the heart.
Now, listen here, y'all. We got a little saying down in Texas. Y'all might have the same one there in South Kakalaki. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. The point is, you need to go to BW Tax to get your taxes done, okay? Because he helps out good Americans like you that are struggling to put food on their children. I actually said that.
That was good. That was good. You just took 2 spots on the ad read. That was good. Well, Brandon, we've asked you questions, which has been great. You've been super informational, but you also are in a weird position of power to put me and Jeff Biggie on the spot. Yeah, I mean, if one were to say we were under anyone's wing, there it is. I can't do the whistle like you do.
I'm putting that on
the red-tailed hawk.
Put that in there. I would definitely say I've been under your wing. All joking aside, very grateful. One of the first staff sergeants I've ever met. As a second lieutenant, very formidable years, taking me through, everything that we did. And then again, as a gunnery sergeant, and then now as a master sergeant, super helpful. And, one of the people that I look back on my career and I'm like, wow, like this guy, like, I'm so happy I got to serve with you 3 times, but put all the cool, sentimental stuff aside. I don't know. You got a story about Second Lieutenant Biggie or Broggi, or you got a time that Captain Broggi wanted to kill anybody in Nacho Battery? I don't want to just come here and pepper you with questions when I know that you have a shotgun arsenal. So, anything you want to turn the tables on us on?
No, I mean, it's been good. Nothing really stands out. I'd say that you, of all the young lieutenant or lieutenants that, I rotated through, especially in the time in Tango Battery, which was 14 lieutenants. I mean, yeah, the proof's in the pudding. Like, y'all are still around. I know there's some good ones, like, the Vias and, whatnot, that are still out there somewhere in the Marine Corps,
in the abyss
ecosystem. Right. And they're out there in the ether, but, no, it was good. I mean, it was pretty obvious, right off the rip. I'll never forget when the 3 amigos, you two and an old Dino Motorola, radio, show up down at the warehouse and, doing the typical, like, I'm the new lieutenant battlefield circulation BS that none of the enlisted buy, coming down and like, hey, gents, what are you doing? Like, we were running drills and cleaning, and I was, training the crap out of these guys in the cages. We see it all the time, but when you asked, hey, what can I do to, so that the Marines like receive me, and I'll never forget. And it's one of my Tealisms. I just told you both, just be a real dude. The enlisted guys, right? The worker bees, they get it. They know that they're going to be told to do something that, it doesn't make sense. It's not well thought out. What they don't want to hear is that immediate officer, being fully bought in. Like, we know how orders work, and we know that probably somebody told you to tell us to do something really stupid. But the important thing is that, it's kind of the framing, never should you, lower yourself to that lowest common denominator, which is going to be that Marine that just, no matter what you tell him, he's just going to complain. But, being real about it, right, is like, look, guys, this is what we have to do. And I get it. It's going to suck, but we're going to get through it. They're going to receive that a lot better than, follow my tracers, you bastards want to live forever, kind of like, patent speeches. Like, nobody wants that. They see right through it. And I mean, it's a testament to, probably why any of us are here, today is, I felt like the one thing I told you from the rip, you kind of seized and ran with it. And, the guys everywhere you've gone, they've loved you. So, that's my one piece of advice. Be a real dude.
It's an eagle right there. No, we appreciate it. Any save rounds, Jeff?
Let's see. No, we kind of covered it all. Yeah,
then we covered it.
It's always fun hanging out with Teel. Always fun.
Brother Teel.
Oh, I was going to say we skipped right over all the time in Utah, and
so we were I thought about going down that. Like, there was a lot of things when you were coming on, and I was like, I don't like Jeff's in Utah right now. He's going to ask about Elder Biggie. Yeah, but hey, we haven't had a repeat guest yet. But I feel like we just scratched the surface. So you never know. There could be another time. But Jeff, you want to take him through the last part, the part that everyone has to do? Yeah, I feel like he'll do a good job of this.
So another little soundbite we got to steal from you. So we kick off every show by everyone kind of going around the horn and giving an okay. And so we always get the guest to give their best okay. So I think,
and they give you a little bit more context. And I think once I start, Jeff will hop in even more. So you got to remember, you're like one of the first staff sergeants we met. What was the guy named? Man, you guys know I'm the worst with names. Staff sergeant was playing the guitar when we first watching Into the Tango office. Sanders, right? One of the first staff sergeants. Yeah. And then, you get Cad, who was a new master sergeant, like in my mind, kind of like the first battery gunny, snap, point. And it's like when you're a lieutenant, you're out there and you're pontificating your patent speech and no one's listening. And then like the gunny just wants to go home and he comes out and he's like, okay, I know the lieutenant told you to take that trash from over there and put it over there. And then everyone like does everything. You're like, I've literally been trying to tell them to move trash for an hour. And it's just like literally with one word, okay. Like everything changes. Jeff, you have like another example of that?
I feel like that's perfect.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So like that's the like kind of what we're trying to harness. And you can put it in a sentence. You can just give the word. You can do both.
All right. We just kick this thing.
Whenever you're
we just
ready.
Kick it. Yeah, it's like a reservist conference call.
Okay.
Right? That's a good one. Yeah, you get it.
Service conference call.
Oh yeah, I mean, true. We were on a lot of them tonight. Yeah,
it was deep.
Yeah, tonight was deep, and I was on all of them. But anyway, I digress. We're here for positive Marine Corps experience. Brandon Teel, Master Sergeant type, Marine, father of 3, wife or husband to a great wife, Jen,
husband of 1.
Yeah. Youngest daughter, Cadence. I'll just love that. Like the only name that could have been better would have been Kevlar, but I love Cadence. Thanks for coming on. If someone wants to like see your hot political takes, like anywhere they should look for you, or are you only on True Social?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Just kidding. All right, Brandon Teel, Master.
One-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one. Thanks for coming on. Jeff, would you give that guy anything?
Oh my gosh. Got to give him a good dude.
Good dude. I also kind of forgot that he's not from the South.
Yeah, you do like oh yeah, he's from California. But I think he's
he's from South California.
Yeah. Like also like desert California, which is more like the South in a lot of ways.
We're from the South. Yeah. Good dude. Did you give him a good dude?
I did. Good dude. As I was sitting down.
Oh, you gotta say
good dude.
Yeah, good dude.
There you go. Good dude.
Yeah. Now he's a good dude. Yeah. Now he crushed it. Master Top Teel.
A lot of fun.
Appreciate these active duty Marines that come on. put their careers on the line, talk to the OK Podcast. Only here at the OK Podcast.
Risk it all, come on the podcast.
I can always just be like, hey, I'm not on orders.
Yep, retirement's on the line.
Yeah. No, good dude. Thanks for coming on, Top Teel. What do we got?
You had a Patagonia Instagram.
Yeah.
Something.
That's right. Well, I guess the people can't see it. Do you want to describe it, or should I describe it? Or should you say why you thought I sent it to you?
I'll put it in the video.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely said it to me because I work for Patagonia.
Yeah, but it was kind of like me and you meeting each other. Like, I'm not the guy with the money bag. So it's two guys, and one guy's like, what did they say, like financial expert that works for Patagonia?
Yeah, or there's like the Patagonia finance bro versus like Patagonia like eco-friendly guy bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a lot different.
Like, they're both wearing like a similar thing. One guy's is like old, he probably turned it in to get it repaired, and one guy's like brand new,
like the sweater vest thing.
No, like the puffer. Like
they're both wearing nano puffs. So
nano
like
nano
like brick stitching. Okay. Yeah, style number
like
84212.
Oh yeah, no big deal.
Classic.
Yeah, no big deal.
Nothing crazy.
And so like the eco-friendly guy's like in the dumpster.
Yeah,
like going through trash, and the other guy's like counting his money. And it was like when two Patagonia bros meet each other, and it was just funny. Yeah,
it was funny.
Yeah, I had a good laugh about it.
It was good laugh.
I feel like Jeff leans towards the eco-friendly.
Oh. Yeah, big time. Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Although I'm a conservationist now.
That's true.
Now,
yeah, I'm worried about these rivers. Yeah, this hurricane.
Always have been.
Always have been. Yeah, that's what I've always said. Big conservation guy. Yeah, it's almost like nature doesn't need to be messed with.
Just ask John Connitz.
Oh man. Actually, I'll just take that real quick. Hurricane relief, not that the relief podcast, but Hare's ear fly fishing. It was funny. I was talking to him today, and we were talking about different stuff, but it was like I was telling him, because he was talking about the impact it has on his business, like one, the rivers.
Yeah.
Like two, there's an element of like he knows rivers, right? Like one, because he's a great guide, but two, because he's on the rivers all the time. So it's like, the bottom of the river here does this, so the fish hold up here. I don't know. I'm not a guide, but I assume there's like I got to put a guy on a fish. I know it can always go to this spot. So that's wiped away. That's not what he's worried about. But it was more just like, man, like here I am, a consumer of your product, and I'd kind of feel like a jerk if I was fly fishing on the rivers right now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's like trying to get water and food, and roads are washed out. And it's like, what are you doing tomorrow, Grant? I'm hiring a guide to go fly fishing during this like crazy area.
Yeah. I'm going to go out and recreate during this. Yeah.
Yeah. So right. I think, it's tough on businesses, and he'll be fine, but fly shop up where we fish. Can't name rivers, can't name cities, but in Western North Carolina, flooded. Guide services even more, especially your public water guys. The private land guys will be able to sneak in there and do stuff. Sneak maybe is not the right word. They'll be able to do stuff because it's private water, but the public water stuff, Pisgah National Forest is closed until I think October 31st. Wow. So you can get up in there, but you can't be a guide service that fishes public water. So anyway, big conservation guy, but not beyond just fishing. Western North Carolina took a bad hit. And that's coming from a guy from South Carolina. So I don't know if you're into that sort of thing, look up stuff. There's a lot of different ways to help those people out. Any save rounds, PJ?
Me?
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
What are you weighing these days?
Good question.
I'm hanging around 187 right now.
Okay.
So when was your last time to the gym? I'm not putting a guilt trip on you, but we have been in turbulent times here.
No, what was it?
It was the last week, right?
It was Thursday or Friday.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It must have been Thursday.
So now you know the Strength Co at Blockhaven is going to be closed for another week.
I have to go to Anytime.
Yeah. Or anywhere.
Or how.
Yeah.
You get a home gym.
But are you kind of like there in your brain? We're like, because for me, it's always the week. Like if life gets crazy and I miss a session or I miss a second session, it's like I never like to go more than 7 days.
Oh yeah.
Like, are you kind of there now? Because if you're Thursday, today's Tuesday.
Oh yeah. So the plan is tomorrow. I need to check out Anytime Fitness.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
It's it's been not trying to make excuses, but it's just crazy. We got the hurricane, and then my movers come Monday.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. That, and then it's just a wild time, but
can't afford not to train.
Honestly, can't really afford not to. So yeah, I got to go check out Anytime tomorrow. Get back on the.
Tell them I sent you.
I will.
Seriously.
I'll drop in like, man, you heard of these strength code plates?
Actually, do you have
made in the USA?
Do you have an extra copy of Starting Strength?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I have one copy.
I'll give you another one.
All right.
But if you go, take it to AJ.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have internet.
Oh.
And so he was reading Arnold's Encyclopedia for Bodybuilding.
No
and
way.
I was like, brother.
Let me give you the real one.
And he was like watching me lift. He's like, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I got a book for you.
I got a book for you.
Yeah. I was going to bring it to him Thursday.
Yeah.
But if you, or is your copy like sentimental? Like, do you ever sign it or anything?
No, I've read it.
Okay. I'll give you a fresh one.
All right. That sounds good.
Square,
We got practical programming.
I bet
too.
you'll get in for that. Start him with the blue book.
The blue book.
Start everyone with the blue book.
Good start. Blue book.
Good start. Good. That's a good way to start strength. Am I right?
It is a good way. They should write a book about that.
Yeah, it really should.
It really is transformational.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
Well,
wait,
I'm going to try
you say
one
your movers
thing.
Are coming?
Monday.
Monday.
All right. Well, you're training. You should help them out. You'll be training that day. That'll count as your workout if you move.
That's my active rest day. You know.
Good Massonomics take right there. Real
There
quick
we go.
shout out. Massonomics boys came to the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Man, it went good. You know, it was one of those things where
Rough timing.
I felt bad for a half a second because they were coming. Tanner told me like months in advance, hey, we're coming down for John Call, Jim
Juji Mufu.
Yeah, that one. And he's like, oh, will you be doing marine stuff? I'm like, no, I'll be back. So I came back from marine stuff and I was like, oh, this is like when Tanner might come in. And then he's like coming in and he's going down to Donnie Thompson. He's going to see Jen Thompson. He's like traversing around the state. And so I called him. I was just like, hey, man, like if you can make it. Like, I'd love to see you. I'm like, at the same time, like, no pressure. And I meant that. But then I also threw a joke out and I was like, I mean, I only came to your state twice and drove 6 hours to see you. So if you don't come, and then I felt bad later. I told my wife, I was like, you know, like I was kidding, but like, I hope he doesn't think I was serious. And she's like, Tanner's good. Like, he's fine. But so then I messaged him. I was like, hey, dude, like if you end up with like 2 hours, like at every time you're here, you're within 2 hours of me. So if you end up with 2 hours, like I'll drive an hour. And that's kind of what happened. He was like, he finished and they had some the next morning and he's like, we need to eat. And I was like, meet me here. It was like 50 minutes for me and like an hour for him. And like, I think we hung out for like 40 minutes. Like it was literally like eat chow. Actually, I'll tell this for Jeff and then we'll close this thing down. I'm going to try and call Trey to see if he can close this down over the phone. We'll see if he answers.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, that would be great. But no, so we go to Gaffney. If you've ever watched House of Cards, there's a big peach on the side of the interstate. That's Gaffney, South Carolina. House of Cards. They take like basically Lindsey Graham and Gresham Barrett, shove them together, make him into a fictional character that went to the Sentinel, not to be confused with the most exciting football team in college, the Citadel. But anyway, so I go to Gaffney and I just pick like a brewery and chicken house or whatever. And I sit and it says open and it's like, it's open till 9. I'm leaving my house at like 7. I'm like, sweet. We'll get there at 8. We get there. Tanner beats me by like 5 minutes. It's closed. So then we look up like Red Dog Saloon and Grill, something like that. Okay. You know, I'm butchering the name and I'm not trying to. So we go there and we get there and like, we go to open the door and it's locked. And like someone inside that looks angry is like pointing to the side. And we'd looked on Yelp and they have like photos of like burgers and like food and everything's closed because the storm's coming and because it's like 8 p.m. in South Carolina. So we go around the back, there's like Sturgis signs and it's like private club. And we walk in, the first thing you see is billiards tables full. And I'm like, oh man, this is like one of those, BW Tax knows the name because he was with me. It's like it's a way they get around like liquor licenses.
Oh, it's like a supper club?
Yeah, and smoking inside. It's about
Yeah,
smoking
yeah.
inside.
It's like a private club, so you can like,
yeah.
yeah.
So we walk in and like Tammy greets us. She's probably 90. And she's like, y'all ain't members here? And I'm like, oh no, we're not. I'm from the state. She's like, where you live? I'm like, Greenville. She's like, I'm sorry. The big city, huh, boy? And I'm like, oh man, we're going that kind of south? I can go that kind of south. I'm like, look, I got 2 friends here from South Dakota. We get an hour. And she's like, listen, it's usually whatever price every 6 months, but I'm just going to charge you $20 tonight. And I'm going to put you on the list right now. What's your name? And I was like, Tammy, thank you. Also have a question. Do you have food? And she's like, no, we don't have food. And I was like, okay, we're looking for food. She's like, I was about to let you in here. And I was like, I know. I appreciate your Southern hospitality. She's like, well, y'all can go across the street, but that place sucks. And then she's like, JJ, come here. Where these boys need to eat?
JJ.
He like names the bar and grill that we originally tried to go to that was closed. We're like, yeah, it's closed. And then he's like, Arby's. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to Arby's. So we went to some like terrible
but they have
Mexican
the meats.
restaurant. Yeah. So we went to the Mexican restaurant and we sit down and Tanner and Tommy go, so what would D eat here? And I'm like, what? Like, this isn't a real Mexican restaurant, and D's never been here. You can't ask that.
These aren't actual Mexicans that are working here.
Yeah, it was funny. All right. We'll try to get Trey on the line to do the closeout.
Love
if it
it.
doesn't work, Jeff, start prepping to take us down.
God.
And we'll get out of here. Let's see. I got a big picture of Trey holding a big fish. What do I call him?
It's ringing.
Can you hear it?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Trey, we're at that part of the show where you kind of bring us down for a landing, and we realized you weren't here. So we're an hour and 53 minutes in. Our guest has left. Can you bring us down?
I can tell that this is not a prank call. This is something that I actually need to do.
Yeah, this is real.
This is real. Hey, what episode are we on?
40.
040.
040. Bingo, PJ. This is episode 040 of the
Okay.
podcast. We'd like to thank our sponsors always, BW Tax, keeping the lights on. I believe we're still powered by the Strength Co.
Yeah, we are.
Verified.
Okay, verified. Love to see you in the that Slack channel. Find the link below. Come interact with us. Ask questions about lifting or just life in general. Love to answer that. You can find us on social media. Go to www.theokpodcast.com to find all the links there. We all have our each and individual social media accounts that we are extremely active on. Is Jeff live right now?
He's live.
Oh, we're live.
Right now.
Live right now. But other than that, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. If you made it this far, mainly Grant's mom. But other than that, we'll catch everybody next time. Did I miss anything?
You forgot to call me Coach.
Oh, sorry, Coach.
Yeah, no, we're good.
All right.
All right, man.
Thanks, Trey.
We'll see you next
Thanks,
week.
Trey.
And with that, we're signing off from the OK Podcast, episode 040.